Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. Happy Thursday. Happy June 13th. It's good to see everybody. I know there's a lot going on in the Legoverse. It's been a week since I've been streaming. So evening, Johnny. Thanks for being here. I think the big news is, yeah, I've got a haircut actually scheduled for tomorrow. So it's because it's getting a little, my biggest thing is the older I get, the longer the neck hair gets. And so that's kind of why I go. I also need to get my eyebrows trimmed up, but that's usually something I do. Anyway, the perils of aging. Everything's gray and bristly and whatever. So, the big news Lego wise is, Bumblebee's coming out in like a couple weeks. So July 1st release will be Bumblebee, and I'll probably get that day one. I think I'm going to try. So we'll see. I still would like to get, the SLS rocket and a couple other, items and sundry and stuff. But, I think I also need to pay for my lug bulk too. So that may be where this next paycheck's going, which means Bumblebee may have to be put off. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and start. We are still working on, let me know how video and audio is. The other big piece of Lego news, and I realize it's been it's been a while since I wasn't able to stream last week, is that since the last stream, which was like a week and a half ago, Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be a Lego video game officially. That's a huge deal for those of us who like the game and like Lego as well. I have feelings about it, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit during the course of the thing. But first things first, Bumblebee came out. So here's what we're working on, so I can just kind of get into this a little bit. So this is a Fireclaw. This is part of the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. We're not in Forbidden West yet. This is still Zero Dawn. This is kind of the main big bad from Frozen Wilds. If you're looking at the map, you kind of start, from my perspective, it'll be flipped. But from my perspective, everything kind of goes this way in the game, right? You kind of go up here, go this way, travel a bit, go a little farther south, do some stuff up here, wrap up down here. You can go back and forth. It's open world. You can go back. You can look for ruins. You can look for treasures in different areas. You can go back and go to some areas to hunt machines, things like that. So you're not on rails. You can give up a task, start a new task, go anywhere you want. On the map itself, the DLC kind of goes a little farther north from the original area into the Frozen Wilds. And it's a smaller area, and there's only like one main storyline and a couple smaller fetch quests and errands and things like that. And one of the main things that you do is you fight these new machines called Fireclaws. But there's also sort of a demonic aspect. They call them demonic. And it's these control towers that take them over and turn them into a little more feral, a little stronger, a little more dangerous. And so one of your big tasks is going up and finding how these are being affecting the animals. So we're mostly done with a good portion of the machine itself. Once we get I've added a little crotch piece right here because I think that's probably pretty good. I'll cover it up under here with some more stuff. I think we can probably do, once you get to a certain point, the Fireclaw, actually I think it's a Fireclaw, honestly. And then the regular version is the Fireclaw. So as you can see from this image, this is a Fireclaw. They basically, they have similar attacks in terms of like they swipe, they charge, they do a thing where they do like a wrestler move and jump on you. But the Fireclaw will kind of like walk towards you and shoot like this stream of freezing, you know, like a flamethrower, but with frost. This guy, the flame, right? Fireclaw has more fire-based attacks that kind of like surround it, so you kind of get caught up in a blast. And it's got different vambrace kind of things on its arms instead of the chainsaw looking things on the Fireclaw arms, right? Slightly different. But mostly the body's going to be the same. Instead of freeze canisters, it'll have these blaze canisters up here. So we'll do those in trans. If we can swing it, we'll do those in trans green when we get there. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So I have this up just to kind of get a good look at the neck. The neck is going to be kind of an issue. And I also have to redo the face because the face isn't 100% the same as the, this was the sawtooth that I have. So we could make it a little bigger. We can do whatever we want with it. So I think I might try, not much difference up here. The jaw is, yeah, it's actually a little more, it's a little different than I thought. The head. But we'll give it let's stick with this guy for a little bit. There is a gear under there, so I'm going to try to get this thing. This is the smallest gear available to us. Try to get that in there, and I think I have an idea. So how's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody's week going so far? What you got planned for the upcoming weekend? Anything special? Father's Day's coming up. I don't think I've got anything going on. I have to kind of wait and see if my kids are going to do anything for it. Because, you know, saying, hey, what are we doing for Father's Day is kind of defeats the point of just having it, right? So I think if I put these in here like this should work. On either side. Those are conflicting, so they'll probably have to come out a little bit. To about there. Yeah, I think that'll work. Cool. That's not as big of a problem as I thought. Nice. Robin Berard, how are you doing? Thank you. Busy weekend, perhaps? Nice, nice, nice. Got some plans coming up. So our trip to Colorado was fine. We were off. I was off for oh, nice. It's good to see a fellow Blue Sky person here. I really like that joint. It's very welcoming. I don't think I want this anymore. I think I want something smaller. It's a very cool place. I'm liking it. I'm liking the kind of the it reminds me of like early days of social media when it wasn't called social media. It was just kind of, you know, you find somebody you like, you follow them, they follow you back. You know, it wasn't filled with advertisers and corporations and stuff like that. So it's cool. I like it. So welcome. Thanks for being here. I want to kind of get some more trans blue things in here for his eyes, but that's always been a problem at this size. There's really no... So let's look. Here's a new thing. Robin, if you're unfamiliar with the software that I'm using. You may be. I don't have any idea. So occasionally what I like to do is if I know I need a color of a piece, I will go in here and find that color. Not very light blue, just regular trans blue. And that turns all these pieces that color so that when you bring them out onto the stage, they're that color. The problem is, like this one, it conflicts. There's a little exclamation point down here. This part doesn't come in that color. So what also you can do is tell it hide unavailable parts in that selected color. So you do that, and it takes a little while to for the software to go through the database and flag everything that doesn't have that color attached to it. And it slows down the machine for a second. So if I lose a good rate on the stream, I apologize. So yeah, so I'm basically going to go through and see if there's something small enough that I may have overlooked. There's been some new parts added to the list in Studio. So I might get lucky and find something new that I hadn't considered for the eyes. I'm looking for something that's like those 2-length shafts with the ring on them, or the lipstick pieces. Something small that I can use as eyes. The eyes in the machines on Horizon Zero Dawn are basically the ends of fiber optic cables for the most part, and then in some cases the sawtooth is a good example. I think it's a sawtooth. It looks like it has 4 coming out, so like really clumped, clustered together. There's 4 of them, but there's no way at this size I could do something like that. So I just have to kind of give it an indication. Some of the larger animals I can kind of put a tile or a plate in there, and it kind of gives it that indication that it's an eye. And then I'll include in the design other pieces for red and yellow. So when they turn to active and when they turn to aggressive, you can change those out. Sometimes it's hard to build that. So if you're going to replace those pieces, it's not super easy. Your Horizon junkie. All right, so let's talk about Horizon Adventures. Lego announced last week, and then like as soon as it did, I couldn't come on here and talk about it because I was out of town. But it announced Horizon Adventures, and it basically is going to be another Lego game like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Batman, where they probably will go through and tell a story, an abbreviated version of the story. You can get a Technic shock absorber in trans blue. That is nuts. I can't imagine this is a cheap part. That's crazy. I don't know what part that would have come in. So here's like the smallest ones that we've got, and you can see that doesn't really fit that whole section. If we wanted to, I could replace some of it. So I'll put that out there just to see. So there was rumors that this was going to happen, and that's a pretty small piece. I wonder if we could use that somehow. People were very excited about it. I was very excited about it. I was talking about it on stream all the time. I was like, imagine blah, 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 blah. My only issue was I thought it wouldn't be announced for a while. And if it was announced, I thought maybe they wouldn't have so much ready for it. Like they'd have a trailer and or a teaser, and that was kind of it. But they came out full boat on the something Toy Fest. Was it San Francisco Toy Fest, Greater American Toy Fest, something like that? And they were like, yeah, December of this year, and here's what it looks like, and here's how the gameplay looks. And I think a lot of us were a bit blown away by it. So now it's going to be just like Star Wars is. It's an abbreviated version of whatever the story is, plus a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor, a lot of things that'll make you kind of giggle, a lot of goofiness, stuff like that. Understanding it would be more family-friendly version. Exactly, yeah. And I've been trying not to watch the people play the demo levels because I kind of want to go in and play it myself first. But it's going to be a typical Lego game, right? These are geared towards kids who if they have any proclivity to be able to play a computer game, they will be playing this, right? So they have to make sure it's available to be played by people that age. I don't think any of these is going to work really well. They're too weirdly shaped. So, let's, if I wanted to use this, I don't want to get too, so it'd have to fit right about here and then be hidden is the only problem I have with this. How am I likely, I love these feedback hubs. How likely are you to recommend a Windows PC to others if asked? Like, what, do I have another choice? Mac or Windows? I mean, do you care what you do with your computer? Do you want to be able to customize your computer? Do you not want to give Microsoft money? Seems like you've got 3 options, right? You've got Mac, Windows, and Linux. It really kind of depends on what you want to do with it. Those things crack me up. I get them at work. They're like, how likely are you would you recommend Teams or Outlook? I'm like, man, you're sending this to me at work. I don't have a say in that. Stop it. So you see how small these eyes are? If I zoomed in on that a little bit, they're like a cluster of, there's no way I could make that fit in here. So, anywho, my personal feeling about it is that I am a little sad that the game's coming out, and I'll tell you why. It's just a very artistic, personal. I'm gonna turn the music down. I feel like I'm shouting over it. I'm probably not. You guys probably can't even hear it. It's a personal response to it because I've spent the last like year and a half working on these, all the machines from Zero Dawn, made a big display out of it, kind of spent all my Lego time working on these. And it's not that there's no, I'm not expecting recognition from Gorilla or Lego, but I know there's only a few people like really doing Lego builds for Zero Dawn. A lot of people have made their own tall necks. I won't say a lot. I will say maybe 3 or 4 people have made like really big tall necks, and they're very cool. Giant thunder jaws. I've seen claw striders out there. I've seen tremor tusks. I've tried to keep it like you could do a giant mech of a Frostclaw or a giant version of any of the large machines, right? Slaughter Spine, Tide Ripper, anything that's giant and impressive you could do. I would really like to see a really giant Stormbird and see how they handle the weight on the wings. A lot of click hinges in there, ratchet hinges to keep them from falling. A lot of Technic. But I tried to keep all my stuff minifig scale, right? So it looked like it would work in the game. So that was my like feeling like I was doing good with that. There was one thing that showed his little butt. I'm trying to find that again. Yeah, there's a little backside here I wanted to look at. It looks like it's just these 3 little containers. So this isn't really exact. It's getting to be a little bit. So to have the game come out is kind of, I won't say a gut punch, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I've been working on it this whole time. It feels like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It really is. I feel like, man. Well, now I just got to sit here and wait. I'm waiting. Hang on. I apologize for that. This should be reconnected. Probably dropped for a second. I have a very loose network cable down there, and it went to Wi-Fi for a hot second. I'm going to go over and check on YouTube to make sure I'm still live here. If you're still seeing this and hearing me, put an H in the chat. Just going to check. See if it still says live. Still says live. All right. We're good. Need to start turning these legs down so they're a little more squatty, so I can kind of get an idea of. So I don't know if you can see that I'm still not convinced that I've got the right feet here. They need to be claws, but the claws need to be short, and I can't quite figure out how to make those short and white. Still working on that, so I'm not really sure what to do about that. But let's do. I like this pose of this toy. Well, that's pretty good too. Let's see if we can make that pose, so I can kind of work on that. Legs are a little farther apart. We'll see if we can get them to stick up a little bit. So yeah, so it's a little bit of a weird thing. I feel like a lot of things that I do Lego wise are I do it because nobody else has done it. I do like making my own things, but I also like making my own things new. I feel like if I'm redoing somebody's work, it's not as fun for me. So when the video game comes out and it's for a thing that I've been working on for a while, it just feels kind of weird. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I don't know if this will grab. Nope, won't grab the whole thing. It is a bit of artistic pride, but also it's like it's also a bit of first kind of thing where you're like, yeah, I want to be the first one to do it kind of thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this whole body here. Because then I'm going to have to add all this. Okay. So, Robin, this software. Yeah, that's not good at all. No, that's fine. I understand the need to work and the reason that people have to work. Okay, right now I can already see this is starting to become a problem with clipping. I may have to take off that piece because that's as low as it gets. For his walking, so we'll have to worry about that in a bit. This software is called Studio. It's a free software from Bricklink. Bricklink is, I'll show you Bricklink real quick. It's a secondary market for buying and selling Lego. It's the secondary market, so much that Lego, and I'm working on a description for project submission. Oh, cool. Nice. Your lug gonna do a project support thing? Or is that something else? So Bricklink is basically, if you need extra pieces, you can go here and find, you know, individual parts of things and buy them from individual sellers, and they would have, you know, let's say you needed 200 of these, and you could do it in light gray or something like that. So, you know, you come in here and say, all right, well, I also need them from the US. And then this person's got them for $4 or for 4 cents each. So you can make a cart and buy them from that person. Mills stuff, Hoth. Oh, yeah, cool. Nice. I have to work on, I've got trivia. I'm hosting trivia at Brick Rodeo. By the way, Brick Rodeo, July 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. July 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. July 4th weekend, whatever that Thursday through Sunday is. I'm hosting a studio lecture, talk, how to use studio, basically. And then I'm running 2 trivia nights. So I've got most of the trivia done. I need software now. I need to figure out how I'm going to present it because I don't really know how many people are going to be there. It's a Geeks Who Drink style trivia, but I don't know if we're going to do paper or what. So anyway, this is Bricklink. You can come buy sets, pieces. You can open up a shop if you've got a lot of pieces and you want to sell. But they also have this free software that you can download. And that's what this is. This is great because if you build this model and then you sign in with your information. Did I change that one? Yeah. You can then upload this and it creates a cart here. And then you can use this to buy. Oh, well, we're going to run into this a lot. They're making changes. So a lot of these parts are like parts that have A and B and C versions, and they've consolidated them into other things. So it's breaking this. So you got to go through it and find out what that is and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's kind of a problem. But anyway, what it does is it should create want lists. Let's see if I can find a want list for something else. So I've got all these want lists for all the other Horizon Zero Dawn machines in here, right? Like I need this many pieces for a bellow back, right? These are all the pieces I need for a bellow back. This would be a bellow back containing a blaze container or apex because these are all trans orange, which doesn't exist until you get into an apex one. Anyway, then you can come in here and say, all right, I want to buy all of these pieces. So you hit buy all and it'll create carts for you. You can pick which carts you want from which shops, or you can just hit auto select and it'll create carts for you. Hi, Missy. How you doing? Feel like I haven't talked to you in a bit. So these 4 carts, all the pieces cost $34 together. There's shipping and handling, I'm sure, in here. So you can create carts and find out. You'll probably end up spending $45, but then you get all the parts for a bellow back, for instance, right? So it's awesome. I've spent years and years in this software, and I quite like it. This hip hinge is going to give me problems because I don't want the legs to be any bigger. How are you doing, Missy? Well, I haven't been here in a week, so you haven't really missed anything. Well, let's look. Let's look at a big one. So let's look at the Deathbringer. So the Deathbringer has 136 individual pieces. Probably a lot. And this wasn't need, was it? No, this is just if I straight up did the Deathbringer. I think this is all of them. It should have 2 pages because I can only do, right. So I did buy all for that. And in most cases, I've got so many pieces from years and years of collecting and buying bulk and buying new sets and tearing them down. That what I'll do is I'll create a want list, but then I'll go through my pieces and pull out what I have. And then the remainder of that want list is, why do I not have, there's no store? That's not right. It's go back. Apply. I think I may have two things. So I'll go through all my pieces, whatever's left, then I'll buy from O, because this is, I have 100. Okay. So this is something I forgot to do. In the want list, now I have to change all these. Let's check out Deathbringer. I have told it, like right here, that I have 8 of the 8 pieces I need. So I need to go back through and change the condition. Quantity. Apply quantity. But I want to change the want quantity. I want to change the have quantity. I wonder how I do that. So anyway, I need to change this to 0. And then when I select it, it shouldn't be that much. This should be 100. And then I got to do it for both pages. Anyway, it's super convenient. I have to figure out how to change that because I've got a couple like that. Anyway. Yeah, it's totally worth it. This whole community is kind of weird. Like once it opens up for you, and the Deathbringer alone is not, so it's not that many pieces. Again, I tried to keep it minifig scale, right? So this is how big a Deathbringer is according to the game, right? That's minifig scale. When you're looking at the game and you're standing right next to it, that's how big it is. 530 pieces. By Lego logic, that is 55, 60 bucks. You know, that's not that much. 500 pieces is not a lot. So none of these sets are any bigger than about that big. I tried to keep it relative to the tall neck, and the tall neck should be the biggest one there, right? It probably is not as, like, I think it's taller and maybe more massive, but in terms of like probably, I don't know, length, girth, something like that, the Thunderjaw is going to be bigger. Deathbringer might be bigger, but anyway, tried to keep them to scale, right? So they're not going to be a huge amount of money each. And when you put them 20 together, that's going to start running you a little more. Yeah, so this is, since Aloy doesn't exist in Studio, Studio does have its limitations, and it's mostly minifig issues. They don't have the faces. They don't have the right hair pieces, the right torso prints, right? So this was just one that I had made so I could get an idea of scale. But it's, you know, that's her bow, that's her staff, or her spear. Just to give an idea of how big each of these are. And then you take them and put them next to each other and make sure that, like, you know, your Thunderjaw or your Sawtooth isn't bigger than a Behemoth, or your, you know, Scrapper isn't bigger than a, I guess what it will end up being is the Burrower for the next one. So anyway, yeah, don't need to save that. So this is roughly how big the Frostclaw is compared to Aloy, right? We've got pictures, and this is how it kind of looks in the game. I got to get this a little higher so I can kind of zero it out. But she kind of goes up to like the mid, you know, calf. There's a picture in here, like right here, kind of goes up. She's a little closer to us than that, but it'll go up mid, you know, mid thigh kind of thing. So that's probably good. And then when this guy fully bends over, it'll be about, he's not big, much bigger bent over than like a Sawtooth. Taller in the shoulders maybe, but not as long. Stream went poof again. I did lose a cable earlier. I need to order another 50-foot cable or something like that. 70-foot cable. The one I have doesn't, the clips on the cable are broken for both ends, and so they're just sitting in there so they can come out real easy. So if I'm not careful, I may kick it out. They don't clip in anymore. In fact, on the router, I've got it taped securely so it doesn't come out, but here it doesn't. Anywho, cool. So, but yeah, so this is a lot of work to put into a thing and then have it, you know, I have a friend who was going out to, oh, was it glitchy for a minute? I still have dropped frames, but it looks like the KB per second's pretty good. It's not dropping more frames. So I think it's all right. CPU's low. I'm only at 30 frames per second. Anyway. So, let's look at its butt again. I wanted to... There, he has 4 canisters back here, and I don't know if I want to show the canisters or... I think I will. So I think I got an idea on the canisters. I'm going to do... I realize I've been talking a lot and not actually designing, which is kind of a problem. I get that way. So we'll do that. And then that'll be dark brown or dark gray. So, Robin, have you played everything with it, or are you playing through it right now? How far along are you if you haven't played all the way through? If and you don't mind me asking. So these will need to be translate blue. So these are shock canisters, but in the game, the shock canisters and the freeze canisters are slightly different colors. The shock canisters are like a darker blue, but they've got like these bright highlights on them, and the freeze canisters are just light blue. You played everything multiple times. Okay, same. So we're in the same boat. The only thing I didn't play the VR game because I don't have a VR rig. It's hard to tell what that is, so I'm just gonna kind of make it up. I'm on my 3rd playthrough of Forbidden West. I just finished Zero Dawn again. Zero Dawn / the DLC. Oh man. I'm taking a break from it though because I downloaded sort of Ghost of Tsushima was on sale for like $30. So I'm like, well, I'm getting that. I heard that was great. Maybe tiles. Tile round. So these got these little bitty canisters on its butt. So for the uninitiated to this game, the canisters that stick out of all these animals, all these machines, is basically sort of so these machines have hit points just like anything. You have a bow and arrow. A bow and arrow against metal machines doesn't seem like it would work all that well, but the machines have soft areas on them. They have electronics, they have tubes, they have sacks, they have canisters of things. And if you hit them hard enough with your bow and arrow, specialized bows and arrows, they will do damage. Like if you're hitting them it really doesn't distinguish whether you're hitting them in a metal location or not, but you can wear it down by knocking components off of it. And your focus, the thing that helps you see the world differently than everybody else in the game, will help you isolate different components. And you can aim for those things and knock them off. And some of these components are elemental, which means they are like shock, fire, blaze, frost canisters or freeze canisters. There's a thing called metal bite, which is acid or corrosive, basically. So if you match your arrow type to the canister type, you will do a lot more damage. Like if you hit Bellowback's got this giant sack on its back, and if you hit it with a fire arrow or a freeze arrow, it explodes. And not only does it damage that machine itself, but in most cases, if there's machines nearby, it'll damage those too. So it's pretty cool. So you can take down these giant machines within a few shots just by knowing exactly. I mean, you have to hit it because they're moving around, right? And like these guys are especially kind of problematic. I'm gonna do a black panel. These guys, and for the most part, they're not going to show you. They're not going to give you a shot to those canisters. The only ones that really are bad about that are the herd animals. They are a little worse about hiding those because they'll turn to run, and then they've got 4 big canisters hanging out the back. So what I really like doing is usually there's some herd animals and some predatory animals around it, kind of keeping guard. What's up, Vab? So one of my favorite things to do is, like, especially grazers and lance horns, is wait for those predators to kind of get nearby, and I'll just, from cover of grass, I'll shoot one of the elemental canisters out. It explodes. It knocks off points off everybody. And then I wait for them all to calm down, and then I do it again. Towards the end of Zero Dawn, all I was doing was taking my corruption arrows and just finding flocks of animals, and instead of taking them on myself, because I'm like, I don't need to do this. I've got all the parts I need. I've got all the weapons I need. I'm just shooting them until they're corrupted and they start attacking themselves. And I think that's hilarious. How you doing, Vab? Hope you're doing well. Let's see now. We need to finish up this back a little bit. I'm going to do a wedge. See, that's the part that spins. Yeah, I could. This is one of those things where, you know, the question. These are new pieces in the software. I haven't seen these. They come in black. They come in black. You know what these would be perfect for? Right here. Yeah, that'd be great. Look at that. Tired, long day. Yeah, mine hasn't been terribly bad. Sorry you've had a bad day. Or a long day. So there are some things that are hard to do in Lego, and most of the times it's these sacks, right? These big kind of Kevlar bags, right? They're obviously meant to, like, not be pierced by clipping of metal once it, like, kind of buckles against it or pinches against it. But trying to recreate those shapes in Lego is kind of hard. So I do my best to try to negate that. These are great, but you can see they're new pieces. They would work really well, but they're also $1 each. So I'm probably not going to use those. Because they're new and they probably only come in one set in that color. So let's see. I think I'm going to do a wedge plate. There's a thing that people do where they're like, what could you talk about for 5 minutes? That's too big. You know, you want to do a, people have PowerPoint parties where they will get together and they have 5 minutes to, and it's sort of like a, hey, you know, you may be friends with these people, but do they know what you really like doing? And do they know to the extent of how much you love doing it? Cosplay, video games, Lego, miniatures, metalwork, you know, whatever you like to do. What could you talk about for 5 minutes? What could you talk about for 10 minutes, right? I could talk about certain things forever, right? Lego's one of them. Horizon I could talk about forever. So I think I'm going to give this a little bit of a... I'm going to try to kind of be simple about it, but... I need it to start being a little more hunched back here. It needs to be bigger. Oh, that's not good at all. That's kind of smart. Can't imagine that felt very good or smelled very good. This is going to be under wedge. I can talk about that for about 5 minutes. Yeah, I bet you could. Okay, that's better. I'm wanting these things. What colors do these things come in? Do they come in black? I may have to turn all these black. Just to keep everything inside from looking weird. Ooh, gross. So you'd appreciate this. You may appreciate this. As you all know, my stepdad. It's kind of a weird thing. My mom's third husband passed away a few weeks ago. I didn't know him terribly well. I knew him, right? Visited. I wouldn't say we were very close or anything like that. It was just my mom's husband. He was a very nice guy, and he was extraordinarily smart, and he was an engineer, and so he worked on part of the reason I went up to visit is because he has an immense amount of junk, right? The garage is full. It's not junk, really. It's tools. Like, it's all organized, but it's just... So he's got room in one side that he's parked like a bike and something else. And in the other side, they had a Roadster. They had an MG Roadster. I forget the year. See if I can find a picture of what it is for those that don't know. This is pretty close. Anyway, they sold it. My mom sold it because she can't drive it. This is what they had in green. And he fixed it up. It's got like a VW engine in it, and a VW transmission. And they would tool. It was green with a white top. It was sexy. They would tool around their little mountain town in it. It doesn't go past 55 real easily. And she was able to sell it. So there's a lot of going through and selling stuff. So I got to drive this finally this past weekend. And just because I'd taken it in to get the tires balanced, because you get up to about 50 and it would start shimmying. So they got them rotated and everything. So she got rid of that. They also have, I forget what year. They've got one of these. So they're trying to sell this. They had a Chevy Avalanche that they sold. And he's a big tech nerd. He's a big machinist, engineer, tech. He worked at a security company, and he was like one of the people who went around and installed security. So like they got locks and stuff. So between him and my mom, who's a big tchotchke fan, like she collects baubles and cute things to put in the house. Everything else was filled up with, he had 17 versions of one type of radio because he really liked that radio and he was worried that they might get rid of it at some point. He loved cars, he loved bikes, he loved, he's a real gearhead machine person. So, but their house reflects that. And there's just stuff everywhere. So I went up there to try to help clean up stuff for a little bit, for a couple days. And there was, I don't think we did a whole lot, but we did some. Let's see. So the next thing is to try to figure out how this is going to attach. I feel like I want to do this guy. He'll come in this color. But yeah, it's going to be a multi-year process of getting rid of some of this stuff. Yeah, Airstream trailer. Yeah, they have an Airstream trailer, and I told my the kids' moms, because they laughed about wanting to get an Airstream trailer. They're like, we'll just tow it behind our truck, and we'll go camping, and we'll go bird watching out by the lake, and blah blah blah. So I go up there, and my mom's like, yeah, we're gonna try to sell the Bambi, and I was like, how much? And she told me. So I messaged them, and I was like, are you guys serious about wanting to get an Airstream? Because I know a person who's selling an Airstream Bambi. It's as much as a new car. And they're like, shut up. I'm like, I know. You guys are living within your means right now. All right. I got to try to focus. I'm way off of focus here. So this has to work. This has to be flexible enough, whatever I do, to be able to be bent over on all fours and standing up. So it's probably going to be hinged a lot. I'm going to go ahead and add another hinge in here. And yeah, because I want it to kind of be able to move. We'll worry about what connects to it here in a second. We'll get one of these. I think these are only good for one color, really. Oh, dark bluish gray too. Okay, doesn't matter. Hopefully these are internal. So then I want a bracket. So that was a fun trip. It was about a 15-hour drive to get up there. If I do this, it's really going to limit what I can put there later. What's in here? Okay. You know what they don't have? I just realized they don't have 1x3 Technic bricks. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why. I just realized that they have a 1x3 brick. They have a 1x2 and 1x4 Technic brick, but not a 1x3 Technic brick. I think a 1x3 Technic brick with 2 holes in it might be useful at some point. So this works, but it doesn't allow me to really put anything on the back here. I don't think this will be far enough out. Oh, that might work. Nope, that will not work. So, let's make this bigger. Do that. 1x3 plates. Let's do 1x3 plates. So yeah, I'm excited about Horizon Adventures, but I'm also it's not that I'm not excited about the game. It's that I'm kind of mourning the fact that my creations now aren't going to be unique, much like the dozens and dozens of custom microfighters that I've done over the years were sort of made a little rendered kind of moot because Lego came out with the Star Wars saga, where you could basically collect any kind of ship you wanted from the Star Wars universe in microfighter form, right? So it's that same feeling of all the work you did being sort of now not trivialized. I'm not really sure I'm making much sense. Like, I still want to get the game, and I'll still play it, and I'll still love it because I love Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. I love that whole universe. Suddenly, this joint seems really out of place. But I think I'm able to... What is this attached to? So that can turn. All right, good, because I'm going to turn it. It just seemed a little... There we go. That seems a little better. Now that I've got everything tipped down, I just want to make sure that this still... All right, so what else is going on? Lego Bumblebee looks really good. It is the right size. Meaning it's smaller than Prime. What's up, Greg? Welcome in. It did get revealed. All right, so... I wonder. Odd brick. Just out of curiosity. Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna get the Bumblebee when it comes out? Alright, I didn't think that would work, but yeah, I don't wanna bemoan the loss of innocence with the Horizon game all night, but that's not really what I want, but okay. That should just be able to sit in there all right. Plate. Yeah, later on in July. July 1st, I thought. Oh, this is about to be my least favorite song, so we're going to skip it. It's going to do that. Hate. Absolutely hate it. Nice and flush. That's nice and flush there. This will work well with the back, which will be more of this. I'm going to put some brackets. Oh, when you're going to get it? Yeah, I want to get it day one, but I know in reality I probably... Because I have to pay for my... I totally forgot I needed to do that. I need to pay for my lug bulk. I think this is where I'll do a... 2x3. We need to pick up our lug bulk. We're going to sort on the 22nd. Oh, man. That's going to be tight. That's going to be a tight couple weeks. We're going to meeting. Monthly meeting, and then I'm pretty sure the sort is going to be... I need to look this up real quick because it's going to bother me. $6:22, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. So I need to... Can I... Yeah. Bulk. Sort. Sorry, this is super interesting to everybody else, not me. I'm sure. I just need to make sure to get this in the... Otherwise, I'll be planning something on the day we need to do it, and then it's a huge event for our group. All right. Can this fit here? No. Cannot. Why not? Okay. You're going to get a new TV tomorrow. That's neat. You're going to miss the sort and the meeting? Well, I mean, I can't promise we're going to hold on to anything for you. I'm kidding. We totally will. Yeah, that sucks. If you've already paid, I'm sure it'll be me or Lasso hanging on to it. If Lasso won't even be back in town, so it's going to be me taking money for everybody. Which, I mean, it's all sitting over here anyway, so it might as well come back. Well, I don't... Put that plate back. Kind of don't like these here either. Now that I think about it. But that's a weird bit of math to sort through. I knew that was going to be a problem. So maybe this bracket isn't what we need right there because it's causing some problems. But it's such a great hold. Like those, you know, I think I'm going to make it work because this bracket is such a good piece to hold there. My only concern is pinning this down somehow. So, I think I can do 2 plates in here to hold it in place. Will it let me do 2 plates? Sure. Cool. Cool. Right on. What kind of TV do I have? I don't even know. A big one, not a small one. We have 3 TVs in here that are like giant TVs. And mostly because we had a fairly sized TV, I don't know, 55 inch, something like that. And I didn't have a very big TV. The last TV, Jesus, that I bought was probably 20 years ago. New from a store. Beth had a pretty nice one from when she was living with this guy. And then when she moved out, he got a new TV, so she took it with her, and we ended up with that. Then another couple friend of ours moved from Austin to Michigan, and on their way out, they were like, we're selling some stuff. Does anybody want stuff? And I was like, what do you have? And he's like, we got a 60-inch whatever TV. I'm like, I'll take it. So we had a pretty good sized TV, and I was like, I don't need anything else. And then another friend at work was like, I'm moving apartments and I got a brand new TV. And he asked me first, but he's like, before I sell this, do you want a TV? And I was like, sure. I was like, how much do I use? Like, no, I just need to get rid of it. It was like a 65-inch TV. TVs now are kind of like what I feel kitchen appliances were a little while ago, where you're like, I'm just getting a new one, just somebody take this old one, right? They're almost nothing anymore. You still can get very nice, large, good resolution, good quality, good power consumption, good features TV for a few grand. But I think in most cases, people are happy with just like, can I play my games on it? Can I watch Netflix on it? That's really all I need. Okay. These shoulders confuse the crap out of me, and I don't know what it is. I don't understand the joints. Because if you're looking at back here, it's like, what are the joints right here? I think it's these big, I think like the joints are right here, but it's hard to tell. Now it looks like they're down under this big area, but now over here it looks like they're on top of it or over on the side of it. Yeah, I don't understand those. Like, I think these might be too close in terms of joints. But, and I don't know what kind it is. I think we have a Vizio somewhere. I think we have a Samsung somewhere. None of them are 4K. None of them are OLED, OLED. None of them are QLED. I think one of them we have might be 3D. Like, you can watch 3D stuff if it's available. But I mean, I can plug my PS5 into it. It does what it needs to. That's all I care about. I've got an antenna stuck on my wall for if we ever really want to watch anything we couldn't watch normally, like sporting events or something, or local news, but almost never have to do that. The most that we use for that, yeah, these joints up here may be just too big. I feel like, well, no, but they need to be, he needs to be able to walk on them too. I think that's why I left them like that. So, but yeah, you can see that's not the right angle. They need to be higher. Or this neck needs to be lower. One of the two. So something's gotta be rearranged in here. I feel like it's not as menacing. And again, I'm doing this while it's standing up. And when it's bent over, its little legs down here need to be a little smaller. Anyway. This is why we do this. After this, though, I'm going to take this offline and I'll work on it. Maybe I'll go back and finish up the Rock Breaker, or start on the Scorcher. Scorcher, I think, probably would be pretty easy because we could use a Sawtooth / Ravager base and just kind of change up the head and some of the components back here. So let's do this and then do Scorcher. I think there's even, it's probably going to be one in here where it was Scorcher versus Sawtooth or something like that. I've seen those where they battle. Uh-oh. Somebody's got a, that's pretty good, man. I need to not do Go Bricks. Let's check this out. AliExpress. You know what? I bet this was done by somebody and they stole it. I bet you $1 million. And I better check some of these to make sure they're not mine. Because look at this. You can get a whole kit. Wow. Look at this. Well, they've got 2 different shell walkers in here. That's weird. I don't even know what animal that is. What is that supposed to be? Is that a broadhead? Broadhead. Maybe a scrounger? That's a scrapper. That's a shell walker. That's a grazer. That's a corruptor. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I mean, that's Aloy. That's pretty good. That looks like a ochre jelly kind of thing. There's one. Yeah, I don't know what that animal is supposed to be. Broadhead. I think it's a broadhead. That's not great. Like, I don't know what it's doing with its legs. That's a broadhead too. You can tell the... This is all over the place. No, I was looking for images of a Scorcher, and I usually have this minus Lego on here. Maybe I should do minus MOC too, because I don't want to be influenced by other people's designs, so I try not to look at other people's stuff. So yeah, that's yeah, so this is a Scorcher versus yeah, they're roughly the same size. Their paws are going to be slightly different because one's a dog and one's a cat. But if you look at like the shoulder bits right here, they're the exact same piece. These are going to be virtually identical. I'll get a better indication of what like the undersides of this are, and they both have like these tail pieces, stuff on their like their backs, their butts. This is like a mine layer. It shoots out these like things that track you and explode upon impact versus an antenna cluster back here. But yeah, for the most part, they're the same size. So confident that I could just use the size of the sawtooth as a really good model for the Scorcher. Scorchers are really rad. When you first meet it, it's a bit terrifying, because you're out in you're newly you've unlocked the DLC. When the DLC came out, you basically go as far past the most northern part of the map that you can, northeastern part of the map. That was basically like not an end game, but like one of the big story reveals, right? You kind of take a path past it and go farther up the mountain, and you end up climbing a lot, right? To get up to this cold mountainous area. And you come into this flat area, you're like, sweet, kind of a frozen pondish with like some sides and a path going this way. And all of a sudden this thing just kind of comes out, and you can either hide and go past it, or you can fight it. And you're like, well, it doesn't look too bad. And then it goes with it, like kind of vibrates a little bit and flames start shooting out of it. And it just goes rush right at you, right? It's like a dragster almost, or it's like a drag car. I said dragster, right? That's right. I don't know why I corrected myself with something less descriptive. Anyway, you fight them later on too, and they are pretty relentless. Like, they don't wait around a whole lot for you to figure out what you're doing. Anywho, I feel like I don't understand this critter all that well. I'm trying here, but sometimes the arm joints and the... I guess it's okay. And its arms basically almost go down to the ground. So if these get a little large, that might be okay. All right, before I get too depressed about that, the neck area needs to be... It's all this bulbous material, right? And this is going to be a problem because Lego doesn't really do that very well. So in order to be able to keep it moving, like I have to think, okay, do I want it to move a lot, or is this going to be just build it and make it look pretty? Nothing wrong with fake brick. Good quality and cheaper and has lights. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, I think the only people in here who know are probably people who are in here all the time anyway, but if Robin is still listening, Johnny also has a stream. Vab also occasionally has a stream, usually about designing rockets. Johnny and I are kind of similar. He'll build more stuff than I do. But he's been... his most recent stuff has had a little bit to do with a company called Funhole. Funwhole. Like wholesome fun, right? And not the sexually euphemistic phrase that I keep coming up with every time I hear the phrase funhole. It's cheaper than Lego, fairly decent quality apparently, and also comes with a light kit as part of the set. So while you're building, you're incorporating, this is where your power goes, this is where the lights go, this is where the cables are run and maintained. And then when it's done, you got a nice fishing village or whatever it was, fishing hut that's lit, right? It's done. You don't have to go back and like take things apart to make somebody else's kit work. It's included in the thing, which I think is great. And I think Lego should do more often. Yeah, so is I. It's Funwhole. So definitely, oh, and I'll show you that it's definitely on the up and up. So this is it. So basically it's, I think you got, I might try to get one of these and just see, which one did you get? You got, it wasn't the apothecary. Was it the apothecary? I thought it was like a fishing village. Or did you get medieval market? No, you didn't get medieval market. Medieval Pier Inn. Medieval Watchtower. It might be off of, oh, there it is. Yeah. So I want a bigger image. There we go. So yeah, it comes with the light kit. So this, when you're done building, this is what it looks like, you know? So it's how many pieces? And they'll give you like what it looks like, you know, opening it and everything. Exquisite interior details. And I mean, Johnny built it. You can go rewatch his video, the VOD of his live streams. I think he did 3 or 4 getting this done. I don't know how many pieces this is. You got this for cheap though, didn't you? Didn't you say you got this for like, I don't want to say 40 bucks. Or did you buy it right on from their site? Oh, cool. Nice. The only thing I really want to light for my, oh, you got it at auction. I know what auction you're talking about. My auction here in Texas hasn't really picked up on some of those things yet. It's still kind of like, here's your one Duplo set. I'm like, oh, all right. Anyway, This looks like if you want to give it a shot, it'd be worth it. I think some of these look really good. You know, car with headlights. There's an airship with some things in it. This looks amazing. That looks really good, right? So yeah, worth exploring. I think it apparently is a pretty good quality product. So, all right. So I'm thinking what I want to do with this is the head is just going to have to be a little looser, and then these are going to have to kind of be not attached really to anything, because they're not going to be able to move all that much. I don't know quite how to make them bag-like, right? There's a lot of tubes and stuff in here. One thing, by the way, Robin, if you start getting into more Lego stuff, Johnny does a really good stream Tuesdays usually. And I think one other day of the week sometimes. And he kind of, same thing. He doesn't do studio, but he'll build things more than I do. I just don't have anything to build right at the moment. I need to finish my... Oh, I think I showed y'all. We worked on this. The trees kind of fell apart, but I got the trees done mostly for the castle wall. I need to finalize this before I forget that I haven't finalized it. Although if I hadn't, I'm not going to be too bent out of shape about it. So I'm going to turn on the build camera if it actually works. Yeah, there we go. So here's where that second section of the castle wall got. These are all the, like I took apart a mass of the cherry blossom set, and I used the trees, the stems for trees, and then went and found just a bunch of leaves and kind of attached them, and it looks really nice. I'll go back and put some pebbles on this, but then over here will be the other side with the what I've called the brewery. We're going to do a brewery because I've got all these Eclipse Graphics beer mugs with different kind of beer in them, so I'm going to have people sitting around. It'll be like a modern brewery. I'm going to make picnic tables and stuff. I've got to work on that. That's got to be done before Brick Rodeo starts. So that's the next thing. In fact, maybe Sunday I'll work on that a little bit. I know when I go away from the mic, you guys can't hear me. But yeah, so subscribe to Johnny Builds. He does a lot of good build stuff. And then Vab Workshop will also do rocketry, Lego rockets. He has an connection and knowledge of the workings of rocketry and how to build them in Lego. So it's very good stuff. These are all going to be this color. Missy doesn't have a channel, but they're a good person to have at meetings. So I thought of doing sort of this weaving in and out kind of thing for the neck pieces. I don't know if it's going to be too big or what. And I guess I could do this instead, like kind of like this. Don't know how to turn that. I tried doing something like this with the rock breaker, and it just wasn't. What's up, stud? Yes, you missed the diatribe earlier. I am excited for it. I will get it. But as someone who spent the last year and a half doing this, to have Lego basically come out and go, look at this, and you're like, oh man, I've been doing that. Now what I'm doing is no longer unique. You know, they did They did the Horizon tall neck set a few years ago, and everybody built their own giant versions of tall necks and giant versions of Thunderjaws, and now everybody's going to get minifig scale machines. And I'm like, that's what I've been doing for, you know. So I'm excited. I don't think they'll make more sets out of this. I really don't. Like, everyone's like, cool, does this mean we're going to get a Tremor Tusk or a Thunderjaw or whatever? And I'm like, honestly, I don't think they're going to. Why go to the problem of release of having the sets be designed for anything if you just got it in the game? Just play the game, you know? Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's my thought of it. Is like, of course I'll play it. Of course it's Lego Horizon Zero Dawn. Of course I'm going to get it. But yeah, at the same time, I'm like, man, I was unique. God, I wish there was something. There's just not a lot of soft things in Lego. There are some, like you can get fabrics and you can get capes. But for the most part, there's just nothing that has like, there's nothing that basically functions like an old time vacuum bag where it's got an attachment on one side and an attachment on the other side, and they're about that big each, right? And in the middle, it's got this expanding bag, right? That when it's deflated, it kind of constricts a little bit, and when it expands, it's a little more bulbous than each side. The closest I've been able to do is bananas, and bananas look great for some of the smaller bits, but like these giant neck things where it's just these machine tubes and bags and Kevlar, you know, things being, you know, it's covering all the stuff underneath it, and it has to move. That's the thing. So thanks. I haven't done a Star Wars micro in a while. That's another thing we can talk about last half hour. The Acolyte has been released. There's 3 episodes that released like the day I was driving to Colorado. And so I drove 15 hours and then I watched the 2 episodes, I think that night or the next night. They're fine. I like that it's High Republic. I like that it's kind of a procedural thing of like trying to figure out. I wish there was more crime involved, like crime research kind of thing. I like the jokes now that they're like, so this just means that the Jedi are like the galaxy's cops, which means all Jedi are bad. And I'm like, okay, settle down. It's a galaxy far, far away a long time ago, right? But I mean, from watching it, turns out, yeah, maybe they are. This 3rd episode, I'm kind of like, oof, guys, what are we doing? Thought he did a micro for Tales of the Empire, but maybe it was an Ahsoka micro. Tales of the Empire. Did Tales of the Empire have a new ship in it? Trying to remember. Tales of the Empire was the more recent one. And, well, let's look. I'm willing to look. The Bad Batch ship. So, where are... This is going to stray a bit, Robin. I know the Horizon stuff is important, but I'm going to take a hot second to go see. So, Fee's ship. This is Bad Batch. This is Bad Batch. This is her ship. No, thank you. Whatever that is. This is Ventress's ship. That's also Bad Batch. This is Ahsoka's ship. That was just that random. Oh no, this is also Bad Batch because this was the operative, right? That went hunting for the other one. This is. This is the the young. This is another High Republic thing, but I think it's like a young. It's Crimson Firehawk. I think it's a like a 4+ set you can get with like 4 figures in it. That's an old one. That's an old one. Yeah, I don't think I have anything from the new stuff. Yeah, so that was it. The operative, because they never really called it anything, gave him any other thing. Basically a clone that was turned into an assassin. I don't think I have anything else from that. Anything newer than that. There is a new ship in... yeah, Ahsoka's was a T6 shuttle. One I didn't do was Elsbeth's ship, which looked like a gold. It looked like the David Lynch Ornithopter. It's just a big wedge of gold, right, with like these weird kind of swoopy things on the side. It looked like a 1980s Ornithopter. So I was like, maybe. There's a couple new ships in... What's the show called now? Acolyte. The one the Jedi show up on, and then one that May takes and crashes. It's not in it for that long, and I don't think it kind of deserves its own ship. But maybe the Jedi one if we get more looks at it. And they actually have one of these. They have Vector. Because it's High Republic, they had these show up, like the ship that... There's one that flies across the front of the screen when they have the Nemoidians on there. And it looks a lot like this. It's a little pared down, but it'd be interesting to see if that was actually... Because these are the ships that were used in the High Republic. It was this and a long beam. I don't think I did a long beam. I may have, but I don't think so. Yeah, so Jedi Vector was definitely in there. So that can be repurposed, and I can make this Carrie-Anne Moss now. Or what's his name from Squid Games. So yeah, haven't done any of these in a while. This was just, when was this? April. So I did a couple of these in April. And then switched to getting everything Horizon done. Oh, it's massive. It's, well, how many do I have designed? I have about 80 built. But I mean, what do we got in here? How many is this? 279 designed. Anytime there's a Star Wars ship, and some of these aren't Star Wars ships. Some of them are, you know, Dune, MCU, stuff like that. Red Dwarf, Enterprise. There's a Gunstar down here. I think those are my non. Oh, and then I got the Orville somewhere. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for actually like Old Republic or something even older than that. There's a story, and the thing that upsets me about the most recent thing being called the Old Republic or the Tales of the Empire is that there were Shadows of the Empire that was kind of in between thing, but there were comic books about long time ago called Tales of the Jedi, and they were like 10,000 years ago or something, like before the Sith were even a Sith. There was the Jedi was still kind of a fledgling thing too, but the Sith were like, there was a planet with like this indigenous species called the Sith, and these dark side Force users kind of showed up, and if I remember correctly, they kind of figured out how to use that side of the Force to kind of manipulate these creatures, and then they like wiped themselves out or something, and the only thing left was the religion of worshiping these people, who then became like the Sith, that then like had a war amongst themselves. It was great. It was really cool. It was a Dark Horse comic from like the 90s. And I couldn't get enough of it. So they did Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith, The Norenrad uprisings, that kind of stuff. Yeah, they were fantastic. Those are some of my favorites. I don't think in studio I don't even know if I have a picture of it, but one of the ships from that comic book I made into it's one of my first MOCs. Up until then, I'd just been building sets, but I made their Ulik Keldrama's Nebula and Ranger. And I contacted Tom Viecht, the author of those books, or the author of the comics, and was like, do you know who did the artwork for that? And he's like, yeah, it's Cam Kennedy. I was like, do you have any? And I was able to talk to him for a little bit, and I couldn't get a hold of Cam Kennedy. He's like, well, made a model based off his drawings, and here it is. And so I contacted that person. They shot me images of that model, and I was able to use that and make a Lego set out of it. And it's one of my favorite ships. It's so unbelievably ugly. It's just the worst looking ship. Let me see if I can find it, because this is fun. I like doing this. It's the weirdest ship ever. Aha, and here's my microfighter version of it. So yeah, this is the Nebulon Ranger. It's just so weird looking. It's got this giant wing that's at an angle. It's got a cockpit that seats 2, I think. This isn't even like, these are newer. Here's the picture in the comic. Look at that. Just a piece of junk. It's got a giant rack of engines on one side, and it's like a triangle, right? It's got this giant wing here, and the wing also folds up when it lands. And then like right in the middle of that triangle, it's got this, that's where the fuselage is. And in the back, it opens up and there's like speeder bikes and stuff. It's just a weird looking ship, right? But at the time when I saw it, I was like, this is so very Star Wars. So yeah, so I still have it. It still shows up. So this is my first ever MOC. This is my Flickr site that doesn't ever get used. There's my Ulik Keldrama kit bash. So yeah, this represented at the time all the brown pieces I owned. I couldn't make the whole thing in brown. I might go back and redo it. But that's how big it was. Had a little speeder bike that went in it in the back. But yeah, you can see it was kind of like this weird angled. I had no idea what I was doing. I was so proud of this stupid thing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. Just the weirdest ship. But it's very, very Star Wars, right? It was very, very Star Wars to me. And I mean, I did that when I was like, I mean, I did this much later. It was like 2009 when I did it, 2008, something like that. So I was well into my 30s. I also did, I should bring that back up. Do I still have? So my Flickr site doesn't get a whole lot. I don't post a whole lot here anymore, but I've got an old, see if I still have my old. So I also did a Y-Wing, and I really liked this Y-Wing. This is right after the Clone Wars came out, and I thought this was more accurate to the minifig scale size Y-Wing that we got. The pontoons are a little short, but I thought it was more accurate to the actual size. Like I was very careful to get images off the TV and off of whatever was published. And I think this was closer to what the actual size of a Y-Wing would be. Like pretty big, right? In comparison to like maybe what we got as a minifig scale kind of thing. So this was a lot of fun. Any other weird old stuff? This was one of my favorites too. This was a ship from, it was a web show called Con Man. And Con Man was an Alan Tudyk web series that followed the career of um, a star, a TV star that was in one show um, from the 90s or the 2000s that had one series and then was canceled, and it was a it was a space western, and he was the pilot of a ship. Obviously, they're nodding to something, right? But they don't really go into it. But the show, the idea is that all he does now is go to conventions, right? The con man. He just goes to conventions. And so it kind of he runs into the other people who were on the show and their level of like how well they did in their world. And so some of the Firefly cast are kind of replaced by analogs of that type. Like there's the hot mechanic, and then the sexy whatever lady, and then there was the other guy who had all the guns, and then a doctor, and then stuff like that. So Nathan Fillion shows up for a little bit in it. It's pretty funny. So this show that he was from is called Spectrum, and they had a promo of it in the show, and I was like, that's a rad ship. So, and it had this like rotating ring in the back that would like glow. And then when they'd go into their hyperspace faster than light thing, it would like light up and do that. So this is the only time I've ever really done this. This actually has a rotating ring in here. This rotates. The only way I was really able to do it, because I wanted to do just a tube in here because it was a single tube that did it, was to have like, I went through so many iterations of trying to figure out how to like have a circle and then like have wheels inside it that would like rotate it like a baseball launcher, right? And it would rotate like this and move the tube around, right? Couldn't figure out how to do that. I also only had one motor, so I ended up having a thing that just spun like that, and it worked fairly well. It was pretty ungodly looking, but I liked it. And then at the show that I brought this to, I actually contacted the guy who did the graphics for the show, Con Man, and he had made like the hero ship reel, the sizzle reel for this. And so he sent that to me like a movie file, and I had it playing on an iPad in the background behind this. So it was pretty cool. I liked it. Yeah, these are older. Yeah, some old build stuff sometimes is fun to look at. Old weird Lego Futron ship. That's just a big thing. I wanted to look some anime thing. That's a local artist here in Austin. When the movies came out, Star Wars movies came out, I bought a bunch of those. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I kept on Flickr. Okay, so like I had an idea about a cone, a big cone piece, half cone piece. I don't know. Like that. That's actually not too bad. It'll let me move the head up and down. Oh, then I move away and it instantly conflicts. There we go. So I think I may have said it does have a good art and music scene. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's a little... Actually, that lined up really good with those tiles under there. Huh. I may have just struck it with this. Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you, Robin. Please do come back. I plan on doing all of Forbidden West. I'll do a Scorcher after this, and then we'll just start right back up in Forbidden West with probably Burrowers. And I've already got a Scrounger. So here's your Scrounger already. So he's all ready to go. Basically, it's kind of a rebuild of a Scrapper, but Scrounger. So we've got one knocked out already. Yeah, we'll just keep going with it. Thanks again for coming by. Appreciate it. And we'll see you on Blue Sky probably. 100% the toy version, the cartoon version is a bit of a mix. Still looks good to me. Yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be a good match for Prime. It's kind of like a halfway between like one of the early 2000s redo of the cartoons and the G1 cartoon, so it's kind of a mix. I'm glad it's a VW Bug. I'm glad it's not a Charger. So sticking with that G1 ideal. Yeah, the barbecue here is probably one of the top in the nation. I know everybody's got their but Kansas City, but South Carolina, but Kentucky, you know, kind of thing for barbecue. But I don't know, man. We went and had barbecue up at my mom's place up in the mountains, and I'm kind of like, well, this is terrible. And she's like, this place is so good. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for you to come visit and get you some good barbecue. And the Tex-Mex here is really fantastic too. And even in our little suburb here in Pflugerville, they've had a lot of really good pop-ups for like some Vietnamese stuff and some like Venezuelan stuff and some good little bitty fusion kinds of things going on. So it's really nice. And it's still occasionally nice to just go to Chewy's and get some stuff. So, all right, so it looks like on his back. Now I'm basing this off a toy. This isn't really accurate, but this was a pretty good model that they did. So I'm kind of pulling some of this from that. It looks like just over the top is we can do some hinges or some of these guys here. Maybe raise them up a bit. Let's just add a thing here. And how does that look? Keep these individual so it's got a little bit of an individual break there. That's pretty good. Do another layer of that. Yeah, this is going to give a good indication of like kind of how. Actually, let's do a full. It's going to limit its range of motion a little bit. I'm about ready to lose my voice, which is good because I only have about 9 minutes left. That's going to be a plate 4x. Well, Tex-Mex also, like authentic Mexican food here, you get authentic tacos and it's tortillas with meat. And that's it. Maybe some onion. Maybe if you're lucky, some cotija cheese. And that's kind of it, right? Sauteed meat or stewed meat or marinated meat or grilled meat. That's kind of it. And a tortilla. You will also get some like cactus stuff like fries, cactus fries, yucca fries, that kind of thing. It's very simple. Like interior Mexican is super simple. Not a lot of vegetables. Some vegetables, but not a lot. So that really makes me appreciate when we get Tex-Mex, which is about the same stuff, but is, you put cheese on it. That's basically the difference. Is a lot of cheese. And it's, for the most part is also swimming in sauce. There we go. Maybe I can have some hoses attach to its neck. Like, I wish this could be a little, him standing up, this could be a little lower, but maybe if we raise this up, it's going to be hard to gather this in here. This all works. That's pretty good. Oh, I like that. We'll close this up a little bit. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can't see this down here, but I love me some chocolate syrup. I love me some cheese. I love me some bread. It's the downfall. I want some light blue. I don't have any tubes, but if I can make, what are those, hot dogs? Hot dogs. Hot dog. What color can these come in? I always want to look. And they don't come, well, sand blue might be a good one. I think I ordered some sand blue before. That might look pretty good on here. Kind of just, you can't really stick these in there like that. I've tried, but they are, the little nibs on the end really don't allow you to, they don't purchase very well. I might try to I'll put a hollow stud thing around it to make it work a little better. My coffee, this is, I was telling my mom this, I make my coffee, I have a French press, and I have Community Coffee, Louisiana, Community Coffee Breakfast Blend, French press, whole bean, grind it just for 5 seconds, still has to be a bit coarse. The more you grind it, the stronger it is. The less you grind it, it's a little more oily, a little more acidic. So I'm trying to find a happy medium because I don't want to be super strong, but I also don't, I kind of want some of that flavor. Then I'll add a squirt of chocolate syrup. I've got Chobani creamers, plant-based creamers, which are great. Because they come in fun flavors. And the current flavor I have is like, yeah, that'll work, sort of. Like chocolate chip cookie dough, something like that. Cinnamon toast. And then non-fat whipped cream. Yeah, see how sometimes this isn't going to work, and sometimes it is. These things are just weird. I may put this farther down. Maybe rotate it the other way. This is an odd shape, and I think I'm gonna need an adult here in a second. They do have these weird tubes in there, so I kind of want to get something tube-like in there to give it a little bit of that, but maybe this up top is probably for the best. All right. So yeah, chocolate syrup, creamer, whipped cream, cinnamon. It's basically like I've taken my coffee or I've taken almost a chocolate sundae and poured some coffee over it, kind of like an affogato. Get some espresso and some gelato in there. That's my favorite thing ever. So these look like horns. I'm not super happy with this, but I may do a clip to hold them there instead. So I'll keep this on the standby. And yeah. Close this up a little bit. We should be good. And then I'll work on the arms. Still not happy with the arms, but anyway, I didn't really get a whole lot done today. I got the little butt canisters there. Got them in a good pose. The head's still kind of a work in progress. But I got to talk a lot about the game and the Lego and the stuff. So, I don't think I have any reason not to be here Sunday. Sunday's Father's Day. So if my kids decide they want to do something for me for breakfast, I may not be here Sunday, but nobody said anything. So it may be a later thing. I don't know. I'm keeping it open. I'll plan on being here, but I'll keep it open. I don't have anything to build. I may work on, let's work on the castle thing. I'll try to figure out how to turn that into a brewery. It's pretty set already, but I'll get some things going for it. And then we can work on that. And if not, then we'll just sit around and sort or something, or I can pop this back open. But I should be here Sunday. So you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay good. For all you dads out there, happy Father's Day on Sunday. If I don't see you, I appreciate you guys coming by and keeping me company and asking me questions and whatnot. So thanks again. And I will talk with you guys later.